Wow. Well, this year, the stock market has been an absolute roller coaster. And I mean that in every sense of the word. We've had stocks that have been up nearly 4,500% this year. And I'm going to talk about two of them that have been up significantly, huge numbers this year, and two of the best performing stocks that I've been able to find. I'm then going to talk about a number of stocks that we've been following this year and the most popular stocks on what people think have been very successful this year. And then I'm then going to follow on with what stocks I'm going to be watching next year that I think will be the best performing stocks of 2021. So go make yourself a cup of tea and then come back and we'll talk about them all. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a company called Novavax, ticker NVAX. And this is a company that is currently up about 2,700%. However, around August this year, it was up almost 4,500%. So we're talking about huge gains. And the reason that it's up is almost entirely due to the vaccine that they are creating. Now, this is a company that was almost bust. They were working on a vaccine and they've received a load of funding that have basically stopped them from going bust. So that's why they've obviously had such a huge sudden rebound and why the vaccine news has been so powerful for the share price. Like I say, it was up nearly 4,500% and it is now currently sitting at 2,700%. So if you'd have invested in this at the start of the year, you would be very well off. The next company I'm going to talk about, kind of similar in many ways, is a ticker VXRT. And this company is called Vaxart. And again, they had some huge news with the vaccine. And in July, they surpassed 4,500%. And they are now sitting on 1,486% up over the start of the year. So massive gains for this company as well. And like I say, these two companies are two of the biggest gainers that I have found in the stock market for this year. So some really huge gains. And the third stock I'm going to talk to you about is a completely different company. It actually builds charging points for electric cars. And this company has only recently been added onto eToro. So I don't have it to compare against the other stocks. However, I know that this is up there in between the last two companies that I've just spoken about with regards to returns for the year. So we are talking again, if you'd been able to invest in this company on a different platform, you would be having some huge gains right now from this. So this company is called Blink Charging Company, ticker BLNK. This is not a stock that I was aware of previous to my research here, and I'm going to be adding this to my portfolio in the next couple of days. I am fairly confident at this stage that we are going to be talking about a stock that's going to continue to grow very well, and I can definitely see some very big numbers coming out of this. There will be another video at a later stage to go deeper into this stock and explain my exact feelings for it. So keep posted for that. So that's the three best performers of 2020 that I've been able to find. So I'm now going to talk about some of my best performers, or the best performers that I've been able to find generally that people have been investing in and people are aware of. So my first favourite is NIO. With returns of 1,182%, we are definitely looking at a very good return on this one. Now, in many respects, I was quite late coming to the game with NIO because I didn't get in until June of this year. So although I did catch the majority of the gains from NIO on this, we could have had a lot better if I'd have found it out a little bit earlier. But looking at the graph, I think June seems to have been one of the best points to have got in, and that's definitely when it's really started to climb. So some really great results from NIO there. So my next two seem to be sitting a little bit neck and neck. We're talking about Tesla and we're talking about Fiverr, two very big companies that if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I'm huge fans of. And both of these companies are around 730, 740% return this year. So very happy with both of those. Many of you will know I picked Tesla up last year and I first started investing in that in 2019. And Fiverr I was a little bit later to the game and I didn't start pick up until the middle of 2020. So still a good amount of gains since I've picked up Fiverr. In fact, the majority of gains do seem to have still come from both of these companies since that time. So we've had some really great returns there. The next one I'm going to mention is not one of my investments and a company that I have actively said about not investing in and raising many concerns about. It's not necessarily to say that I don't believe in the future of this company. I'm very concerned about the share price of the company. And that company is Jumia, and it's up over 500% this year so far, according to the charts that I'm looking at. So some really fantastic gains. A lot of people have obviously done very well from this. Like I say, obviously I am still quite concerned about Jumia and its share price, and I'm sure I'll do a video on that very soon for you to see. The next amazing one that I want to talk about is Peloton, which is up about 434% this year. So again, another fantastic year. Great gains for this company. Again, this is one that I joined in the summer. I think it was actually more September. But again, doing very well. Some great gains over the last few months. But up 434%, which is absolutely fantastic. And the next one I want to talk about is one that, again, I'm not invested in yet, but I am going to be. And I was completely aware of this company, and I'm not really sure why it hadn't appealed to me. I think I just hadn't necessarily put all the numbers together. And that company is Etsy. Obviously, recently joined the S&P 500, which gave it some good gains. But we're talking about 300% up this year. And again, I think this is a company that's going to continue to grow next year quite significantly. So I'll be adding that to my portfolio very shortly. Unfortunately, as I'm filming this just after New Year, I'm a few days in, and Bitcoin has had a little bit more of a jump since I started filming. So it's quite hard for me to give an actual representation of the exact return that we've had from Bitcoin. However, it was just below Etsy and it now seems to have just peaked over in the last couple of days with the returns. So currently it is now 363% up on the start of the year, which again, obviously is fantastic gains. Bitcoin is definitely not something that I'm invested in. This is potentially something that could go up to $1 million a coin. I really don't know, but it's not something that I fundamentally believe in and think is a good investment. And that's why at this stage, I'm not invested in Bitcoin. But obviously it is something very interesting to see. Lots of people do consider Bitcoin as some hugely amazing investment. So just keep in mind, yes, 363% or 300 and whatever percent that it would have been for last year is an amazing return. But remember all those companies that I've already spoken about that did far better than Bitcoin, far less speculative, and in my opinion, far better investment options. So then moving on to my pretty poor performers, to be honest. And when I say that, I kind of say it a little bit tongue-in-cheek because obviously these are fantastic gains for a normal year. And I think going forward, these two companies are going to be a similar level of returns going forward as well. Both of them sitting, well, the first one is sitting at 108%, and that is the Scottish Mortgage Trust. Obviously, pretty much all of the companies that it is invested in are not based in the UK. So it has quite a wide variety of investments. To be honest, you probably would have expected it to be up a lot more than it is based on the stock that it is invested in. But there we go. And the other company is Games Workshop at 83%. Again, fantastic gains for this company. I think held back a little bit at the start of the year, and some very big concerns over Brexit, over the pandemic because of the fact of having to close their stores. I'm still very bullish on this company, as many of you will be aware. So this is definitely a company that will be sitting in my portfolio for next year as well. And then the final one I want to go into is another one of my bugbears. This is something that pretty much since the start of the pandemic, people have been saying, invest in this. It is the best thing to do with your money. It is the safest thing to do with your money. It's going to give you the best returns. And even when it hit its all-time high a few months back, and I was saying that it's madness, people should not still be buying it, people were still ignoring me and going, yes, buy gold. It's a brilliant option. We should all buy gold. And obviously, so far this year, it is up 24%. Now, again, for a normal year, for a normal stock, 24%, that's quite good. But for this year, the bonus year that we've had, if your best performing stock is 24%, you need to seriously look at your portfolio. But 24% is definitely not a champion in this year, and it's definitely not the safe thing that everyone's been claiming that it is. Okay. Obviously, there's a lot of concerns about currencies, with the Fed printing all the money and all the other current national banks that have been printing cash. People have been scaremongering and talking about Bitcoin and gold pretty much kind of like as the same thing in many regards, and saying that currencies are going to fail and that we're going to go back to cryptocurrency, going back to gold or moving to cryptocurrencies, which is kind of like the equivalent of going, democracy's not working, so we're going to go back to monarchy. It's absolutely ridiculous. It would never happen. But people seem to have got into their head that it's actually a realistic option. But there we go. Currencies, as they are at the moment, fiat currencies, they've got their own issues, but the answer is most definitely not gold, and it is most definitely not cryptocurrencies in their current form. So we definitely need to be very careful with investments with those. So going forward, what is it I think will be the best investments for next year? Well, this may actually surprise you. Most of you obviously know me, having watched my videos, will know that NIO and Tesla have been two stocks that I've been very, very keen on. And although I am still bullish on both companies, these two stocks are not going to be two of my favourites for next year. I'm likely still going to hold them. However, I don't think that they're going to be the standout stocks next year. I think they're probably going to stagger along. They'll do okay. They'll be worth an investment. But I think there's definitely going to be plenty of other stocks that are going to outperform them. They've got a lot of investment, a lot of attention. It seems this year, especially after the pandemic, that people could have put a dump in a box and labelled it an electric car company and listed it through a SPAC on the NASDAQ, and people would have invested in it. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if I could have made $1 billion company from doing that. So that's pushed up all of the prices of electric car companies And if you look at the value of Tesla, and if you look at the value of NIO, and then you look at the value of any kind of car company, and don't get me wrong, I know that these are not just car companies, it's a lot more to it than that. But when you look at the values of what the market as a whole is worth and the potential for these companies, I think we are getting closer to true future values. And my concern is NIO may be kind of reaching a close level to that. Now, NIO being worth about $45, $50 a share at the moment. I'm still bullish. I think we could be talking about it reaching 80, 90, maybe even $100 a share. But I think that may take us another couple of years to get to that. And as you know, most of the stocks that I'm interested in are ones that are going to be growing 100% over the year. So that's why NIO and Tesla are not going to be on my list. The stocks that are going to be on my list, the main ones, I've got obviously Peloton, I've got Fiverr, I've got Games Workshop, I've got Etsy now being added, and I've also got Blink, the Blink charging company. Those are my kind of choices right now of what I think are going to be the biggest returners, or some of the biggest returners for next year. Now, there's a good chance that we might get some ridiculous news next year that will cause some other random stock to explode. There's no way, obviously, I can predict that. But I'm fairly confident that at least 3 or 4 of those should be in the top 10 list next year. But who knows? Let's see how we go. Well, thanks for watching. What do you think of the new layout? Do you think the setup here is a bit better than my usual setup? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you can guess what the mountain range is in the picture there, make sure you add a comment below, see if you can guess it right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.